Hey guys, Beast here, coming at you with everybody's least favorite series, and the series that can only be made by people that can't get to Challenger, which will be our struggle into Masters, which is basically where we just look at a few games to see what we did right and wrong, and how we can improve. Now in this first game, I really didn't get to see any picks here, and I got put into the mid lane, and I said I was going to play Veigar, and I really should have, but I was just too scared of getting counter-picked, because if they pick something like a Fizz, or a Nivea, then I'm basically screwed and there's nothing I can do for the entire game. So I just played Annie because I knew it was more of a safe pick, and I got early ganked by Warwick, which I should have expected, but I was just too busy thinking about how long I was going to get to scratch my armpits for the amount of time that I was dead. And it would have actually been just a 1-for-1 trade, but then Rammus goes under their tower to try and kill Warwick, which is really stupid. But here he does come in and pick up the kill on Tryndamere because he was only level 5, and that's another thing. It was really weird because I was in a lane with a Tryndamere, and to my surprise, Tryndamere is actually not a meta mid laner right now. So he actually did quite poorly, and he was also versus an Annie, and even as bad as I am, I was still able to kind of bully him out and keep him off CS, and as well as keep myself ahead. But then they all went to the top lane here to try and kill the Rammus and the Darius, which I guess they did, and I ignited Warwick, but he lived because he smited the golems and then he queued them, and then Riven actually dies to a Jinx rocket, which is pretty funny, but I spent all my time chasing Warwick and then I missed the kill and used my ignite, so I was pretty sad that he lived. And then a little later I started getting greedy and I wanted to stay for that last 2 CS to just push the wave out, but I thought Thresh would lantern me out, but I guess he wasn't thinking the same thing. So then Warwick comes in and ults me and follows me with his Q, which I think is a really fucked up mechanic. And it's kind of based off luck, but it's kind of not, because once he gets you low enough, like, you have no option to flash, and then he can just Q you to follow you. So I guess there is some skill in it, but I don't think it's entirely skillful, and it's kind of more based off luck, like how Darius's E was before the Juggernaut change. I think it's a little like that. But luckily, Riven was super retarded and tries to Q onto the Darius. So then Darius actually gets his Blood Rage, and a lot of times when I play with other Darius players, they kind of play like pussies, but this guy actually had like a massive horse stick swinging between his legs. So he would actually step up and get kills, which was really good because not many other people on our team had balls, unless you consider me entering into the enemy team having balls. But then here we start taking the Baron, and I should have been killing them with my teammates because this was a Baron fight and this could have gone either way actually, if they would have just all gone in at the same time. But I was like tunnel visioning on Soraka super hard, which was really bad because that fight could have easily gone their way. So I guess I was just kind of lucky that my team actually did something without me, and then we win the game, and I get to Diamond 2, and you can see I'm just so thrilled by having my finger halfway up my nose. That's how you know I'm having a good time, when I start picking my nose. But in our next game, we get to play Olaf, because I know we didn't have anything for their backline, which was basically just Jhin, and I knew that if he popped off, then that would be a huge problem because we really wouldn't have anybody to kill him. So I was able to play Olaf, but I do get ganked by Warwick because I tried to kill Kayn. But here he goes on me and he actually dies, which is pretty trolled because he died to a minion auto. And he would have actually lived because of the health that he regens from ulting. So it's kind of funny that he died, because if he would have gotten that kill, it actually would have snowballed his lane. So he would have been able to 1v1 me from that point, but since he was retarded to a degree, then he died, which was actually pretty funny. He should have ulted sooner and he would have lived, but then I TP bot and I get a kill, and then I walk all the way back to the top lane and me and Twitch pick up this kill. And here Thresh actually lands a really nice hook, but then Warwick like fears me through the wall, which was kind of fucked up, because I wouldn't have been able to walk through that wall, but I guess since I was feared, it shoved me through it. And Gragas came in and ulted, so then we were able to live, and it just turned out to be a 1-for-1 trade. But then a little later, I didn't want to lose this tower, so I TP'd down, and Warwick thought that Kayn would just keep focusing the tower, and then Anivia stepped up too far, so I killed her as well. And then I killed the Kayn, which puts me at 5-1. And at that point, I was just too threatening for all of them, but I thought I was too threatening and I was able to kill this Anivia, but then that wasn't really the case because she still had her egg, and I actually could have lived if I would have just backed out right here, which is what I should have done because I knew Kayn was coming down because he had just been pushing that top wave. But I stayed to try and help Gragas, and we do get the kill on Warwick, but then we both end up dying, which definitely isn't worth. And then my team is still trying to fight, which is really stupid. But luckily the Kayn is also stupid, and he actually ults onto Rammus, so he basically does 0 damage. And he could have actually lived if he would have just left when he was going through the wall, but he tried to go back in and kill Rammus. And guys, if you don't have any true damage and you try and kill a Rammus at this point in the game, it's just an all-around bad idea, especially when you're not fed at all. But here I saved ult because I thought I would be able to kill the Jhin, and I knew the fight was going to be lost, but I wanted to at least kill the Jhin. And as I was trying to get away, I got hooked by Thresh, and this Thresh was actually really good and really bummed me out through a lot of kills. But then a little later I TP down to the bot lane, and I'm just so pissed off, so I wanted to kill the Jhin at any cost, and I started going on the Kayn just because I didn't think anybody else was coming. But then Warwick shows up, and then Thresh comes, and he actually predicts the fact that I was going to juke it, which makes me super sad and puts me at 8-4. And I really don't like 8-4. 8-3 just looks like a much better score, but we were getting into a team fight here in the jungle, and Jhin was really late to this fight, which actually made a huge difference because they would have been able to kill me if he was there from the beginning, but he wasn't, so then he ends up dying and gets taunted by Rammus. They do get 2 kills out of us, but it's not enough, and then we actually take the Baron, and then a little later we were taking the dragon, and I think it was probably the Kayn whose shot called the fact that they wanted to fight this, which wasn't necessarily a bad fight, but it was just a very arrogant fight because they could have won if they would have saved all of their cooldowns for Twitch. But the thing is, they couldn't do that because I would have done too much damage to either Warwick or Kayn by the time they would have actually found Twitch. So all in all, it was just a really stupid play by them. And Twitch almost dies here because he QSS's and then runs back into them. But luckily, our Lulu was a god and was able to save his life. And Gragas comes in here to stall the backline for a little while. And I went to help out Twitch because he was like super fed in this game. So I just wanted to make sure that he didn't die to Warwick because I knew he would be able to take towers super fast with us. And we do get the bot lane inhib off of that. And a little later we take the Baron again. And finally we actually do what we should have been doing when we took the first Baron, which was grouping. But that basically wins us the game. And I think that we could have played this better as a team. All in all, after the first Baron, we should have been able to win. But I guess it doesn't matter because we would do win in the end, and we get 17 LP. But in our next game, we play Annie, and we die here, and then we die here, and then we also die here. But then we kind of also die here too. And then something very interesting happens. We die here as well, but then a miracle happens and then we die here as well. And then surprisingly, we lose the game. So yeah, it was kind of sad. And then we lose all of our LP off of it. But in our next game, we play Olaf, and nothing happened throughout the entirety of laning phase because I was against a Shen, and you can see at 12 minutes in it's 0-0-0, and he's also 0-0-0. So I tried to TP down to the bot lane, but then he canceled it. So I was pissed off and I was really bored, so I just ghosted and ulted towards him even though I knew it was going to kill me. But yeah, I really didn't do much on this game. This was pretty much just my team carrying me. You can tell by the fact that at 17 minutes I'm 1-1-1. So yeah, I really didn't do anything this game, and it was pretty much all my team. I know this Ezreal, even though he was playing Ezreal in this meta, which is really, really stupid, he was actually really good, and I think at one point he was like 8-0-7. I'm not sure if that was while he was in game or after the game, but he was actually really, really good. And the thing is, AD carry, I know I say that you can't play non-meta champions AD carry, but I mean, if you're godly with them like this Ezreal was, it really doesn't matter. But we end the game because he's just like way too good, and you can see by 26 minutes we have all 3 inhibitors down. So it was really nice to just lay back and get carried by an Ezreal player who I would normally flame, but actually carried me this time, and yeah, you can see it was 8-0-8 by the end of it. But that is it for today's video, guys. If you did like it, don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, and in just a few days, we actually have an editor editing for us now, which we will be releasing one of his first videos this Saturday. So if you guys want to see some good content, stick around for that. But until then, I will see you in my next video.